Hey aviation lovers, Joe here. This is my first flight lesson. In a beautiful Bristell NG5. This is an LSA aircraft, but it's fully equipped, as you can see.
Even airport advisory radio check.
So I struggle with radio communication just starting out. Vernacular is all right, but I'm just a little bit, I guess, you know, the learning curve is steep for me on that side of things, so I'm just getting used to it. There were definitely questions multiple times before I keyed in.
Is that because you're on them as well, or is it just how tight up? Okay.
And then this was just me learning how to taxi.
Yeah.
Getting used to the rudder pedals, because
we are heading to
just a new airplane for me.
Echo, and we want to get to Lima, which is to the right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to slow down on the brakes.
So there's toe brakes, dual toe brakes on this particular aircraft, which makes it different.
Harness is pure. Pedals are not moving. Canopy. Okay, yeah, I can see everything. Okay, and if I click it again, it'll, yep. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so now we are at the altimeters, both set. Yeah.
So here I'm learning just the trim controls, very nice and simple.
Okay, and then left and right, same thing. So this way.
I tell you, having an all-glass cockpit is such a dream to learn to fly on. You don't have to scan around to look for a particular instrument. It's all right there laid out in front of you. So it's a beautiful way to learn, if you can learn, on a more expensive aircraft like this. I would absolutely recommend it. The throttle is a bit touchy, and I'll get back to that on my learning curve here.
Yeah, I don't know this throttle at all.
So one of my issues is just getting used to that throttle. There's a pretty large dead spot from about the top from 100 to 75%. When you pull back the throttle, there really isn't much happening to reduce the RPMs until about that 75 mark. Then you have something. Okay, so here's one of those just learning to fly situations where we're taking off. It's a little windy. I'm not used to this at all. And so coming up right about here, we have, I guess, a downdraft where it caused the right wing to bank about 15 or 20 degrees to the right there. And yeah, it was a little exciting, I would say. Rattled me a little bit, and immediately I gave the controls over to the CFI just so he can handle it. I did correct for it, but then immediately said you have the controls, because I didn't want to deal with anything beyond that for my absolute first lesson. Okay, so now I have the controls, and we're just flying to the practice area. Just learning how to keep the plane level and enjoy it as best as I can.
Yeah, everything's much lighter than...
Oh, right there, I'm talking about how much lighter the controls are than what I thought they were going to be. Just learning here, you know, how to do turns while keeping your altitude. As you can see, it's a beautiful day out.
Yeah.
We're just learning trim here. Now, a lot of this stuff I had learned about 20 years ago. I was in flight school in high school, but practically I never really used it in an airplane before. So this is actually my first real practical use of, you know, in flight, these controls.
Because we are pitched up.
Now I'm learning difference between climbing using the throttle versus pitch or angle of attack.
Still in my head, altitude. Yeah.
So see right there, I'm saying altitude, my right hand is altitude. So instead of pitching the plane nose up, you know, that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to add more throttle. Just getting used to that, you know, it's a little counterintuitive the first time you do it. So this aircraft is outfitted with Dual Garmin G3X screens. It's really a great thing to have because you can have your charts open, you have all of your instruments laid out right in front of you. You don't have to search for anything. Your radios are integrated. It's all touch based, so it really is a delight to use. So yeah, the only disadvantage to an all-glass cockpit like this is really that your eyes tend to want to look at the screen in front of you. And it could become a crutch a little bit. And I have to say, after flying for a little while, you get used to ignoring that. And my CFI was very good at pointing out that I should be flying the plane, not flying the video game.
Oh, okay. So that little inlet right up there?
You know, having visual markers outside really does help, you know, not just looking down and flying at a heading, but looking, you know, he's calling out actual visual references that I must look at. So that really helps get your eyes off it. And by the time of my recording this, I've got, you know, more time under my belt. So, you know, it happens fairly quickly once you realize, oh, yeah, I'm flying the plane looking out. Okay, so now we're ready. We're ready in a land. I am not landing the plane. My hand is just there to see what the adjustments are. As you can see, my hand is open, and I'm just feeling the fingertips are very lightly touching.
Idle, so all the way down. All the way down.
This was after the landing.
And off. Ignition's lane A.
And that was pretty much it. That was my first lesson. It was an hour long. This is very condensed. It was actually an hour and a half long lesson.
That stopped so fast.
And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll have more in depth on lesson 2.
Tap time, record. Got it. Okay. Master switch off, which would be this guy, right? Yep. Okay. So. Ooh.
I think that was great fun.
Yeah.